The fact is, the president is racist.
Kamala Harris is a fat bitch.
I'm speaking. And I'm a woman. Woman speaking. I am speaking. I'm speaking.
Kamala, the moderators have decided that the mics will be muted like in the last debate, so no one can interrupt you. Isn't that great?
I can hear your black ass.
The border has been a complete mess under her. The number of people entering this country has been bigger than maybe any time in history. People are struggling to afford food, and she wants to give more free stuff away.
Become a member at freedomtunes.com for exclusive cartoons.
Chill. All right. Listen to fucking Waltz.
These guys do not believe in America. They do not believe in our exceptionalism.
Is he talking about you?
They trust the American public. They tell us we have to accept this, even though it doesn't happen.
Oh, I mean, is he
else.
talking about
But
you
I'll tell you what,
in general?
we're not
That you
gonna
don't believe in
roll over.
America?
This is America, for God's sakes, and we can fix this epidemic.
Yeah, you.
We can do it.
I am American. What are you talking about? I believe in myself, and therefore I believe in America.
I see.
I mean, I'm not supposed to,
Understood.
according to most people, but yeah.
Okay.
Look, we'll give you something to vote for. You're going to see a
We'll give you something to vote for.
Although the Democrats have done everything they can to, you know, make me shake my head in disgust, you know, about the whole system. So,
But you're black.
right? So I should be.
You should be up there like, yes, master, no,
Should I be?
master.
I'm supposed to be like,
You should be doing the Harlem Shuffle when Kamala Harris comes out.
I mean, yeah, wear Timberland boots and
You wear Timberland.
listen to Megan Thee Stallion and
Hell
They
yeah.
don't want to talk about the grifters like the two of them are.
The
So we all
grifters.
know
All right. I sent out a link
Kamala
so
Harris
just
will cut
anybody
the
can
red
join.
tape. She'll put in an agenda that puts you
the only way to
first
listen to
and
this
the
live
right
is through
to
Discord,
where
correct?
you live.
Yeah, I got that set up.
No, somebody right now in person. This chick asked how she can.
Oh no, she can watch it on it's on YouTube. We're on Kick. We're on Twitch. We're on
YouTube, right,
fucking
exactly.
Rumble.
So how do you get on YouTube? I'm sending a link or something.
Look up Van Rollington on YouTube. You're on there. You're right there. You're the black guy on the screen right there.
I see that. Okay.
That's you. That's an accurate representation.
I just like, how do you get to it on YouTube? I'm here. I see I'm here.
Motherfucker, you fucking find my fucking profile and then you fucking find the live stream and you share the link.
This
sounds pretty.
And let's go do ours.
See, I'm far more animated with you because I can yell at you. I just got that utter just racism in me.
I'm racist.
That white, what's it called? Everything you do is
Everything you do is to defend the alt-right. Hold on, is that soundbite? Do me a favor though. There's a Honey Jack Daniels right there.
slavery means, come on.
I gotta support a business that was supported by slavery.
President Donald Trump. Their first face-to-face meeting in this presidential election. Their first.
Oh my God, this is how they're watching it. Oh my God, that's terrible.
And Lindsay Davis.
There we go. Let's fucking go!
And thank you for joining us for tonight's ABC News presidential debate. We want to welcome viewers watching on ABC and around the world tonight. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump are just moments away from taking the stage in this unprecedented race for president.
Oh, I found that soundbite.
Unprecedented. Every time you speak, it is to defend white supremacy.
Yeah, fucking grab Honey Jack Daniels. It's on the corner right there.
Lindsay Davis. Tonight's meeting Donald Trump in
It's
June.
the bottle. Yeah.
Unopened by what's unburdened by what's open.
And that brings
Yes.
us
Unopened by what's unburdened.
90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks.
What are you
No
drinking?
topics or questions
I'm
have been
drinking,
shared with the campaigns.
I believe we call it
The
Canada
candidates
Dry
will have
ginger
2
ale,
minutes to answer
caffeine
questions,
free.
and this is the clock. That's what they'll
And
be
that's
seeing. 2 minutes
that's it.
for
You're not
rebuttals,
taking
and
any
1 minute for follow-ups,
any more.
clarifications from
You're not
responses.
you're not
Their
indulging in
microphones
alcohol.
will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak.
You don't indulge in alcohol.
It's allowed. There is
the,
no audience here tonight in this hall at the National
It's the
Constitution Center.
worst
This is an
drug there
intimate
is.
setting for 2 candidates.
How do you feel about that? There's no
never
audience.
met.
President Trump won the coin toss.
You
He
don't need
chose to
audience.
deliver the final closing
That's true.
statement of the evening.
He does not
Vice
need
President
Still
Harris
little
selected
zingers in
the
there.
podium to the right.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage.
let me get a
Vice
little
President
ASMR
Kamala
up in this
Harris
bitch.
and President Donald Trump.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, right.
We got all black on. Look at her. Don't shake his hand. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. Oh. If I use the word bitch, it's in the most endearing terms I can.
So, hold on. So she walked in like it's a fucking job interview. Kamala Harris.
We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful debate.
That's
So
how
let's
you
get
know.
started. I want to begin
That's how you
tonight
know
with
it's
the
over.
issue that voters repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this
turn off
country.
this.
Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
Oh my God.
And I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy.
Are they better
Because here's
off?
the thing. We
That's the
know that
question.
we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young
Because?
families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax
Isn't that
credit
what
that
Trump
we have
wanted to
given in
do?
a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their
For
children.
$6 grand?
My passion, one of them, is small
Passion.
businesses. I was actually, my mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses,
Serious
knowing
tax
they are
deduction,
part of the
which means that you
backbone
have
of
to have
America's
a business
economy.
or have the money to
My opponent, on the
put
other
in,
hand,
and then you might
his
get a tax
plan
cut
is
on
to
it,
do what
or
he has
credit
done
on the
before,
other end, just kinda
which
like
is to provide.
If you're gonna rant, let me pause it so you can rant.
I'm gonna stay live with it, but I'm not gonna rant. I'm just gonna add comment to a tax credit isn't actually cutting taxes or like giving actual funds or anything. You're just come tax time, we get a little something. Okay,
Yeah.
You still gotta pay for everything.
You still gotta pay for
Yeah,
everything
keep
right
the business
away.
open, hopefully, but it's not helping anybody really.
No, it's not.
It's it's kind of silly.
It's not. It's I'll pay you. It's Johnny come pay you later, and then the dollar's not worth shit anymore.
I mean, if you ask Trump, like, hey, you gonna pay taxes? No.
Nope.
Sure. Nope.
That's it. Nope. That's it.
Why?
What a
That's
plan.
smart, yeah.
What a Chad.
A tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and
She's
his
as good as, like,
ideas
labeling things,
about
Trump
what
sales
should
tax.
be
No, that's not how you
the
do it.
backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give
Didn't
you
answer the question at all.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that.
Lies.
We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. we were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago.
Was his eyes closed?
He has one eye closed now. Here's the thing what he does with his eyes.
That's because this man can see the future, and sometimes the future is so blinding.
I don't need one eye. I mean, I have the greatest left eye.
Well, you know, you kind of have to win sometimes when something's so bright. So he's seeing the future right now, and you know, you got to win because it's so bright. It's just blinding.
He should put an eye patch over it. It'd be dope. You know?
Oh, fucking punish Trump. That'd be fucking great.
It's been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that Xi and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess. What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm
glad she showed up sober to this.
I mean, yes, but I mean, sure, but can't tell by the way she's speaking. If you like close your eyes, and it doesn't sound like anything different, really.
tell y'all in this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance.
Defense last 4 years, yes.
So
no singers yet.
I want to make sure that everybody knows when to drink. It's Kamala answers with the word salad.
Check.
Kamala defends the last 4 years.
Drink.
Yeah. Trump lands a zinger. Kamala parents a proven lie about Trump.
Check.
Finish your drink if Kamala says, I'm speaking.
That one won't be so easy because the mics are cut off, so he can't interrupt her. So,
but he's gonna be like mouthing shit, and she's gonna take that opportunity to fucking do it.
We'll see.
She needs that strong black woman moment
of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us.
Caramel. She needs that strong caramel moment. She needs to be one of those like candies that's like kind of hard to fucking chew, but you kind of leave in your mouth.
Grandparents give you.
That
Come
one.
on, suck on this, baby.
I need that. I need that soundbite. Come on, suck on this, baby.
Pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic, and the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel
Jewish people, Israel,
his
Mossad,
plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
That's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say.
Base.
Went to the
Base.
Wharton School of Finance. And
He doesn't need a
many
mic.
of those professors, the top professors,
His
think my
his
plan.
voice is so fucking manly and strong. It's just picked up by everybody else's mic.
You can tell
Is a brilliant
Yeah.
plan. It's a great
Yeah.
plan. It's a plan that's going to bring
She's pissed.
up our worth,
was able
our
to get the
value
zinger
as a
in.
country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences. Like run, spot, run. 4 sentences. We're trying to lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else.
It's that bacon.
The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response. You heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep a number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade.
I'm listening to her answer a question for once, but it's a very direct question. I don't see her answer it, which I think she's already
dodging.
Deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy.
That's pretty good.
If she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of
China
abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights.
This is a layup for Kamala. This is time to give her some points.
In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important.
Did you happen to know about the DNC abortion bans?
Yes, I did. Do you think you told me about that?
I didn't tell you shit about it.
Somebody told me about that. Yes, I did know about them.
Yeah.
Who told me about that? Yes, I did hear about that, actually.
Either way, I think it's like, all right, we'll sign you up. You know, fuck it. You know.
Come on, you want one?
You want one?
No? Yes?
My bloodlust cannot be sated.
Important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, Every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually...
Wait, is she moderating or is she fact-checking? I think she's supposed to moderate.
Come on now, you know it's
a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here.
How did we get
Donald
here?
Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the
As
intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith
baby killing is immoral.
or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
There she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban, because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter, because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to your
Well, I won't
desk?
have to, because again, 2 things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, and essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of? When they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. Look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that would have been. Part of the reason they lost. to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government, and we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade, and as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and
yeah, it's wordplay.
Dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. And that is why, in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that?
Oh, they kept her mic on.
Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer
That's
the
problem.
question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe v. Wade,
Answer the question. Would you veto?
You could do abortions
We're
in
breaking
the 7th
rules.
month,
Yeah, okay.
the 8th
We're breaking rules now.
And probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security. We know it's an issue that's important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know.
I do have that article pulled up. Virginia governor faces backlash over comments supporting late-term abortion bill.
This is a while ago, but this is still rings true, you know?
Yeah. It's basically what he's citing, even though they
But he's just one former governor down the side speaks for, to be fair, he speaks for everyone in the party or whatever, but he might have the same mindset of most pro-abortion or pro-abortion.
Actually, you know what? The abortion thing is actually a fucking racket. Because they utilize all the fucking the medical waste that happens with that for stem cell research. So it's a huge fucking like moneymaker.
And if I'm not mistaken, I heard that it's mostly black babies.
Of course, you guys have the best fucking fetal tissue.
The numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you
That's
tonight
why
is, why did the administration
the
wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress...
She did also prosecute a lot of black people for crimes they weren't guilty of.
I think some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate came up with a border
I'm waiting for Trump
security
to drop
bill,
that one.
which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the
They wouldn't have to work overtime if there was a border closed.
flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill
Also been killed by
would have put
migrants.
more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. I'll tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
I don't know. He got shot and nobody ran.
He got shot, and yeah, exactly. And when he got shot, while he's showing them the chart that he left so much of when it went down, how it goes up now, yada yada yada.
I don't know. He doesn't need fucking Megan Thee Stallion to fucking hold people's attention before he comes out.
And I mean, she might have this got a rally.
Has he ever had anybody fucking perform? I don't think so, right?
No, he has to do his little, his little intro song. The same thing over and over again.
And he could have like Ted Nugent or fucking Kid Rock fucking just do some shit.
Not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris,
That's the
thank
look
you.
of a girlfriend who's like upset with you that you're trying to break up with her.
President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though.
No,
why is he
respond!
trying to kill that bill, and successfully so, that would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border?
First, let me respond as to the
Yes!
rallies.
Fuck yeah.
She said people start leaving.
That's
People
an
don't
alpha.
go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people on television say my
damage
dog
control
was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme.
We got to chuckle.
You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond here.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job...
Oh, look. He's just coming back from the market.
Oh, Jesus.
Obviously, he came from Walmart.
I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job. And they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than...
So apparently there's a town hall video. So I'm going to find this.
Of what?
Of people claiming that their fucking pets are being eaten by the fucking migrants. I do remember seeing this black guy. I saw the fucking video of him. I haven't seen the other ones.
Where are they again?
Ohio.
Yeah, they ain't many coyotes or like fucking whatever else could eat a iPad or something. I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
I think it's like kind of odd that like a guy like me has to come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun, because I see what's going on in these streets, and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits, and I'm getting out here every day and I'm broadcasting this, and you guys are just sitting up there in suits or something. Like, I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants, because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them. Like, y'all get the Highway State Patrol down here every week, and then y'all get like a task force for the Highway State Patrol, and they look for guns and they look for dope and this and that and the fourth. That same people that y'all got riding up and down Limestone doing U-turns, pulling people over for blinkers and pulling people over for going left to center and a couple miles over. Y'all can take them same people, the Highway State Patrol, and you can take them in every single one of their silver Chargers and Dodge Durangos.
There you go. Okay. The system is racist. There you go. We don't attack the Haitians.
And
we
any
attack
Republican
Americans,
in history,
African Americans.
by far. In fact, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far.
That's right. Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier, so let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S. military.
Police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah.
Thank you, fuck you, bye.
It is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country. And they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in. And all over the world, crime is down. All over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice
Excuse me,
President
the
Harris,
FBI they were defrauding
fact checking the shit out of them, like, you know, or
Right. They're not being biased. They're not letting them debate each other. They're chiming in with their takes on whether things are true or not. And secondly, I don't trust fucking some of these statistics because oftentimes... Oh, thank you, buddy. Now we just got spilled liquor everywhere. How did you do that?
The cat did that.
Oh, the cat did that. Okay. We will just let spilled liquor sit. Anyways, like unemployment. Fucking after a certain amount of time, you're not considered unemployed anymore because you've stopped looking for work after a certain amount of time. At least they consider.
That makes sense. I mean, they usually have to go, check in and they, check and see you're looking for work and stuff like that. So, that's never stopped them from getting unemployment. But maybe they're going to crack down. They're starting the same thing for link cards for food stamps. Well, if you don't find a job, you're start giving you the food stamps. But then people are going to starve, I guess. So.
Then, too, if you change the criteria of crime to not report on certain things, or you deem it not admissible because of somebody's status, then that affects the fucking...
Right, if they're migrants and they're not, how are you gonna
arrest them? Yeah.
How's it count towards it?
They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was
then too, if another group came in, basically running a fucking racket, that's gonna fucking move the crime over somewhere else because they're not gonna want to compete.
Chicago or something. It's kind of like it don't really change much here. People die every day.
I think people die every day.
Was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing.
What does that say that you're basically at the same level of popularity as this person? That's how unlikable you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be clear where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses.
What the plan is? I have a plan for it. I mean, I'm the time to give a little details, but no, I have a plan for that.
She sat down and watched a bunch of Martin Luther King speeches and was like, I got this.
Or watch Obama's speech. He gets then.
Yeah, no, fucking watching that DNC thing when he went up there, I was like, dude, that's powerful. Like, I dislike Obama, but the man can cook.
So he's good. He can. Yeah. Then he'll go and bomb. He'll bomb so much he round bombs.
Address bringing down the price of
kids die. That's how many bombs
he talked real good though.
Groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent.
Let's go!
And I'm winning most of them, and
Let's
I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump.
They never really talk about that. All the cases that were overturned basically because they had no fucking lack of evidence, or fucking, for the most part.
Just the one that he's been sentenced for, which is ridiculous, that he, I guess, manipulated the cost
the fucking New York.
How much it's worth.
But what everybody else does.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna fucking get that overturned.
Thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the justice.
And you know he's gonna fucking, like, after he becomes president and after he leaves office, he's gonna be like, you see, completely vindicated. I'm not even a felon.
Once he wins, I guess once he's in office, they're not gonna stop. But I mean, they're just trying to win an election. Once they lose, they're like, well,
they're just gonna make sure that he can't run a business after he's out of office.
No, they want to stop him from being president. Running a business, they can care less about. They don't want to stop him from being president. If they don't, they're just like, well, fuck. Well, let's try and impeach him twice again. 2 more times.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again.
Well, I mean, that's kind of fortunate for someone like you and Biden and Obama, because y'all motherfuckers are guilty of war crimes.
And Bush and Cheney.
This man never put us into war. So
understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies.
What?
Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people
Vice President
to stop
Harris.
him.
That's right. That handler fucking Pence is gone. That fucking milquetoast fucking traitor motherfucker's gone.
Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet
Because you know, because you know they fucking went and turned down his mic because they knew that he was going to...
That's the question.
All right, let me get it. It's about to... It's time for the bullet.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation
we do have a lot
that went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
There we go.
So
Answer the question.
my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of the, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States, and in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was
I feel like I'm being gaslit because I did hear her when she's on the West Coast with a bunch of fucking liberals saying, we have to protect the environment. We're not going to get fracking. They can take their Republican bullshit and take it elsewhere.
Green this, green that. It's green everything. It's like the other bills trying to, everything has to be green or solar. Fucking, it's not going to work. It's not viable.
Teenager.
20 years.
The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down.
Did she answer all what she asked?
Didn't answer anything at all. Nope. Just anecdotes about her family and some girl she knew in high school. And
I'm pretty much sure she touched on fracking, which Harris defends shifting positions on fracking, decriminalizing illegal border crossings, so defending why she changed. But here on the public,
since 2020, she's been pro-fracking.
On the public stage with millions of people watching, it's just I never changed. I never did nothing.
You change. Time changes.
The
Time
true
changes.
measure of
Time.
the leader is the leader who actually understands.
I'm waiting for her to put on the African American accent. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Like, y'all better watch out. We're taking this White House for the people.
Strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well,
response?
first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now.
Oh, shit!
Please.
He
Does that sound familiar?
Oh, my God.
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal.
I do have that soundbite somewhere where she was avidly defending that if a migrant in jail wants to get fucking transgender surgery, she would have the funding for it. It's somewhere, but that is like a sitcom in itself.
It's like a quadruple layers, they're migrant and incarcerated, and when their sex change, and can afford it.
They got it.
That would do this.
Jail, they're criminals, and they're sex change.
They check all the boxes.
My goodness.
Prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing, so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like no.
I honestly think that it won't happen. If she did get elected, she would not do that because the economy would suffer greatly and she would lose a bunch of backers.
I mean, unless she's not running on it now, obviously, so she's no need to do it now. Unless she like undercuts and say, "Oh, I'm pro fracking," and then just have to cut it. But again, I mean, unless there's executive actions be done, president can't really. They're not going to, Congress is 50-50, like you said. So it's like they're going to. There's some things that can be done, executive orders, but like for the most part,
the reason why Donald Trump is dangerous for the establishment is not that he can veto things. It's not that he can fucking pass bills. It's that he can rile people up to be like, yeah, that is bullshit.
And when it comes down to it, that's all you need to do, really. I mean, people are gonna say one thing. There are people in Congress, their constituents, are gonna be like, oh yeah, you shouldn't vote for that. And then people in Congress want to stay in Congress, so they're not gonna do anything that their constituents want them not to do. So
yeah,
so be it.
Nobody has ever done before.
Really. I mean, it's supposed to be tell our elected officials what to do, and they do it. And that's how it should work.
When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead, fossil fuel will be dead, we'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out. You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres of desert soil.
Trump, we have
I do like that. I'm a big fan, but that shit is weak.
It ain't gonna work, but I'm a fan. We'll see what we do. Yeah.
It's cool.
And not good things for the environment that she understands.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 50
They
seconds.
had to get the woman to fucking interrupt him.
See how strong her fucking shoulder pads is? Like, come on now.
That is too much.
Yes.
It's okay. Chill out, Foxy Brown.
And I want to talk about the
She must seem
peaceful
legit,
transfer of
legitimate.
power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis.
She is DEI. That's it.
Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw it play out of the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America, they're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world, and crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when
ask
are those, David, when are those people going to...
Do you know that there's a documentary right now of Chinese illegal migration and how they do it? Basically, they go down to fucking Guatemala, and then they come up to another part of fucking like South America, and then from there they go to Mexico, where Mexico will grant them, I guess, some form of fucking travel visa, where then they can go up to the fucking border.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like $5,000.
Interesting.
But yeah, motherfuckers will save up there to head to the New World.
Going to be prosecuted. When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle?
Let's go.
They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
I regret not putting Hillary Clinton in jail.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened. Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob.
Based?
To attack our nation's capital.
Based?
To desecrate our nation's capital. On that
Based?
day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured. And some died. And understand,
one of a heart attack, and then what was the other one? He committed suicide because he regretted fucking that day.
Former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember
with Jews, you lose.
that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was,
I think there was more to that speech.
I say we don't have to go back. Let's
The funny
not
thing is,
go
they're gonna
back.
say that
We're
she did a
not
good
going
job.
back.
She did a great job. She stood her ground. Like she's definitely fear mongering and bringing back old stuff. But she has no new she's been in charge for the last 3.5 years. She has nothing. This is like 6 years ago. Bringing back old stuff. That's all you got. That's all you got in the chamber. Come on.
That's it.
It's time to turn the page. And
You
if
can't,
that was
'cause
a
you keep
bridge
fucking
too
bringing it
far
up.
for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Fuck you.
Let's turn the
Blood
page
God.
on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backwards to the past.
Let me just follow up here.
He's gonna do it.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because they have destroyed our energy business. That was where bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I ask you this, you talk about the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate, because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue to both of you, because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
That.
You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls, and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm, lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases.
I'm a robot. I cannot detect sarcasm.
In front of many judges, many of them
no
Republican,
judge looked at it.
And said
they
there was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread
standing.
fraud.
That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person?
Do you understand that?
What?
Standing.
Yeah, I mean they don't have a leg to stand on. Their cases weak and feminine that they don't have any.
So it relied on there no being credible victim.
Okay. I mean
that is the excuse that they use.
Yeah, it's very. I mean,
but I mean, you could argue that the credible victim is the United States government,
or the
people of the United States. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just by technicality, yeah, they can't. I mean, but
an election doesn't have standing. The president of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter, because we have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is we have a nation in decline, and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he
lost. I got the thing right here.
Wait, where do you come with these fast statistics, man?
By a whisker, so he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do?
What kind of question is that?
A question that's so lopsided.
That's a layup, alley-oop.
How can we make you look good?
Yes. This is a layup question. I bet she asked this question eloquently and perfectly.
I bet you she fucks it up by fucking adding so many fucking goddamn words into it. She should just
my
be like,
grandmother, when you were,
Yeah. She should just be like, yes, absolutely. I 100% agree. Donald Trump cannot intimidate the American people.
Right, some dramatic.
I'll give you the fucking. Hold on, where's the thing? That's not that. Well, they're not going to affect the American people.
Although Hulk Hogan wouldn't be the best example of.
Well, he was at the RNC. Did you see him at the RNC?
Yes, I did.
Hell
So
yeah.
they shouldn't put him. I mean, let's do the WWE.
Let me tell you something, brother.
We won't get into that, but they kind of erased him forever in wrestling. But he's still around.
You gotta watch the new Vince McMahon documentary. We should do a
Started
thing.
already? Or no,
We haven't. No.
it's gonna come out yet.
Maybe we'll do a thing if Netflix won't sue us.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people.
Oh.
So let's be clear about
what
that.
does that mean?
And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
Wait.
But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States. And world leaders are...
Traveled the world but never went to the border.
Or I've never been to Russia. Or I've never been to something. Never been to the border. I've never been
that
to
was too
fucking
easy.
Czechoslovakia.
Look at Trump. He had that same one, just like that zinger, just lined up. You see it in his face. He was just all like, that would have been.
He got locked and loaded, ready to go.
Ready to go. That would have been the one to fucking put you fucking in the ground.
Are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact. That's deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
I'll give you 1 minute to respond, Mr. President.
Let me just say about world leaders. Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men, they call him a strong man. He's a tough person, smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him. China was afraid, and I don't like to use the word afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him. North Korea was afraid of him. Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes.
Let him cook.
They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because
your time is
I think
up.
we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot more.
Let him cook.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have they should have no rules because there's no, the mics are on, like they're just letting, a minute and a half, 2 minutes now. They can let them cook. This is like.
Because there's somebody in their earpiece like, no, let him cook.
Well, I think that Biden wanted those rules. Like the TV stations don't want those rules. They want to be exciting and crowds and stuff like that. But so
on,
ABC probably was like, no, let's just fucking leave that.
You know, I can't keep up in one of those talks between peoples.
Okay.
Conversations.
Conversations. Look, conversations.
Conversations. Heated conversations, debates.
Yeah, someone says he's a master debater.
Ooh. I am the chosen one.
Or to get to.
Turning now to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held Americans.
She would respond to that.
Vice President.
It's a lot of shit that she can respond to.
I think we're going to do very well. How she's
running. He just did
I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because
your time is up.
I think we're going to do very well.
Because that is a dignified woman. She doesn't need to respond to.
She took the response. She didn't
salacious rumors.
If she would start talking right away, they would cut her mic on and she could respond to it. But she didn't want to smoke.
Salacious.
Well,
we've got a lot more.
So Biden hates her. The fucking she got no votes. She was first out in the last election. She had no votes.
You know, Biden hates her.
hates her.
I think Bernie Sanders said it best.
The American people are tired of women.
Yes.
It
was such a look of disappointment on your face.
Because that's my look of Bernie Sanders in general. He's just disappointed. He's like, you see him talk now. He is just like a Democratic lapdog.
Are you saying that America's
they crushed him so hard that he just falls right in line. It's crazy.
Because they crushed him enough so he could bend the knee.
To who? Hillary or who?
Yeah, he bent the knee to Hillary.
And look where it got both of them.
Yeah, he was all like, "My queen."
They said something about his family, or they did something to him where he just fucking crumbled. He was
mother of corruption.
He was the man back then, but now he's like straight party line.
Mother of suicides and self.
Whatever happened to AOC? Is she still alive, or did she die?
Oh, you know what? AOC did a fucking great job at the fucking DNC.
Oh, she was there. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I watched it and I was all like, "Ooh, you going places, girl."
Is she? I haven't heard from her. She's out of the news though. She keeping her head down.
Dude, she is dumb as fuck.
Nancy Pelosi
but
kind of
it doesn't matter.
Like, hey,
Donald Trump is for the most part somewhat dumb as fuck. But
yeah, he went to law school and and he was
No, I don't mean like not brain dumb. I mean just like in social interactions, he's dumb as fuck.
I think he's a genius when it comes to that. He can talk to people and he can charm them, or he can fucking bitch them out, or he can fucking
right.
Hear
But
about him.
in some settings, you will meet people who everybody loves, and they're all like, "Dude, this guy's fucking great. He's fucking awesome." And then they will meet a new person, and that person will be like, "Why do you guys like that jerk?"
Oh, that happens in real life quite a bit.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what he is.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, why do you hang out with him? Like,
I guess half the country who's for him is like, okay, they really love him, and people, the other half really hates him. So it's like they're really like, you guys are
justifying all the bad things that he does.
Like,
he cheats on his girlfriend.
Yeah, like because you voted for Trump, you're like a Trumper. Like you're like it's either one or the other. Like you have to go all the way or go all the way. So it's like,
I think of it like that, like as the boyfriend girlfriend thing, where it's all like, "Oh, so are you excusing his cheating? Are you a cheater too?"
I mean, ask most people, they'd be honest, probably.
Yeah, there you go.
If you really
Israel,
look down
Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans among them.
Oh boy.
Vice President Harris, in December you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians.
Over there?
Yeah,
take
other chats are.
Take a shot if he says that's a lie.
Said that?
Emma's watching. She said hi earlier.
Oh.
No.
Hey, how you doing? He says that's a lie. Oh.
All right, we go back to it.
Dead, nearly 100
she didn't
hostages
respond.
remain.
I think that's where we left off.
Or you said,
Yes,
quote,
he
Israel has a right to defend itself. But
I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because
your time is
I think
up.
we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans.
She gave the signal. Like,
they fucking saw her when she was
December, you
drowning
said,
in it.
quote,
Like,
Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers. What we know is that this war must end.
She's, do you know the same thing that she's accusing Trump of with, and both sides had good people? That remark? This is exactly that. Is we condemn it, but we understand.
You have to be. You have all the Palestinians in this country. Like, you can't pick a side. If you pick a side, you're fucking, I mean, you're being hated by one or the other. But,
right.
I mean, I say it's kind of like the abortion debate. If you're not from that over there, you should just keep it to yourself. Like, I'm going to just sit this one out. You know, because I'm not, you know, I have no skin in the game, so you guys figure it out. But you can't really get into that. If you're like, you know, Jewish or, you know, Palestinian, you need to pick a side.
I line on, I don't care what sexual orientation you are. I don't care how you feel about abortion. And I don't care how you feel about Israel and Palestine. Those are my big three.
I mean, but you don't care means because people that can most care like too much. Like, it's like people that aren't even like even Palestinian or from Israel.
I don't want to know.
They don't even like they talk the loudest, which is kind of crazy.
All I know is this show and I both feel the same way.
I love Israel and the Jews.
Yes.
Must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that. Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran, and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel.
Just Israel.
But we must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
But not the right to defend themselves.
She spent, I want to say, 150 words before saying Palestine.
She didn't.
She
the
avoided
question was,
it.
how would you stop? That she said. She recapped the whole events. Just give a synopsis and then say. We know two-state solution. Okay, how are you gonna do that though? They need a two-state solution for they started fighting.
Based on the last three words that she just said, I know how they're gonna do it. Basically, make everybody in Palestine or supposedly Gaza, whatever the fuck, make them all just welfare cases. And
they did that already. It's called the Gaza Strip. They did that. They literally did that already.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the plan.
They threw them all in the open air prison, whatever they call it, and fucking just
it's the ghetto.
Right, so they tried all this. They tried this two-state thing, and they got corrupted by Hamas. They tried it already, so they got to kill Hamas without killing all the Palestinians. Like, how do we get rid of Hamas and root all of them out and kill every Palestinian, and then not kill all the Palestinians there?
Controversial take. It's just like Planned Parenthood, where they're making money off the fetuses, but they're also making money on defending Israel.
Okay, why fetuses? I can add that in there. That's
it's the same fucking. That's what I'm saying. You keep them isolated. You keep them just making money in the fucking.
Who's they?
They parentheses up there. The ivory tower of the White House.
Over there, over here.
No, over here. The Illuminati, the fucking.
Are we that
New
invested
World Order, the fucking.
What's our benefit from Ukraine winning, other than
it's an arms
weakening Russia? I guess?
No, it's just about perpetual war. It's about keeping the economy going.
Yeah, they were. I guess from Trump being in office, they were like, "Come on, guys, he's got something. There's been no wars.
There's no wars.
No new money.
No new money, basically.
I mean, yeah, that would seem like it out of nowhere too. But then Russia would have struck first, so it's like.
So like with the war, we have to make missiles in order to sell them to Israel and other countries that are defending themselves. Absolutely. We need war.
Right, we're a war country. We have so much money and so much stuff.
Trump wanted to be an isolationist. He was all like, "Fuck everybody else's problems, America first."
Right, and some people say, "Oh, you're a war country. How do you make money?" Well, if you bring in people from outside the country, manufacturing jobs, and make it, America the manufacturing hub it once was, instead of Mexico and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If you do that in concert, then it makes sense. Then no wars, but we can. Go back to the old school way of like making goods and services and stuff that are getting everything from China.
We have planned obsolescence. We're not interested in fucking.
At this point, we're running out of things. We have all these allies. Like we're running out of things to like.
Oh, we got the solution. It's called subscriptions. It's the new economy. It's just subscription-based services.
Well, whatever. Okay. Cool.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up, far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel.
On who's the guilty party, man?
See, he was kind of like probing the waters and stuff. He's like, she don't do shit. I'm gonna say what I want to say because he's.
He was doing so well, and now he's all like, "Fuck that! I want to use fear mongering."
Because if he gets her off script, she's on script hard as hell now. She's on hard as she studied a lot. See that vein on top of her head? Yeah. She was studying for like a week straight, trying to get her facts straight. But if he gets her to get off the rails and get her over too emotional, she's gonna start spewing some real wild shit, and she don't want to do that. It's not working, but I like his technique though. He's like, fuck it, I'm going off. And during debates though, he kind of does that. He kind of like starts off okay, and then he got get riled up, and then it's like, he's spitting a little spit on his lip and stuff too, like eyes closed. Goddamn.
You know, it's because when he was when he visited the wall, the wall in Israel, it just touched him so much. Have you ever seen those pictures where he looks like a wise man, just like touching the wall and the wall speaking to him?
So everybody can get yarmulke and just wear it? I thought that was like
yes.
Jewish, but
yes. Well, their leader. Do you know their leader, Netanyahu? Have you ever seen Netanyahu?
I don't know. But, I mean,
Netanyahu?
He has been for like forever.
Netanyahu. Trump to meet with Nick and Nick. Okay. I had no idea your voice is gonna sound like that, Netanyahu.
He was so proud of that joke. I love him.
At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never.
I want that soundbite. The whole place is going to get blown up.
Israel
Jewish people, Muslims, everything
Jews
gone.
will be gone in 2 years.
Can you imagine how many inappropriate places I could put that?
I mean, yeah. You put the when you were playing earlier anywhere.
Never happened.
I like Israel,
Iran was
Jews.
broke.
Yeah.
Under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off.
By the way, I have a whole racist fucking like
whole page,
and then there's a whole line of nothing but Jew ones.
Okay, organized though.
I'm organized. I'm organizing my racism.
Right.
Like if we ever watch some shoplifting, I can just be like,
oh yeah, ready.
Yeah, just ready
or,
for it.
Yeah, it's civil unrest one. That's pretty at work.
I mean, I get wild with them.
There's powerful niggardry at work here.
Well, that's powerful.
That's powerful.
You use that. You can use that in a lot of places too.
You use that a lot.
You use that a lot of places.
I've had the urge to do it at some point today, but no, it was all like, no, it's got to be the perfect.
It ain't enough darkness on it. It's too light on that stage.
You know what? I'm gonna rebrand this. It's almost a racist podcast.
It's almost. I mean, yeah.
It's because we got Carlos. That's why this
came out of fucking hibernation. We should have a real debate again. I mean, but that was kind of like a. It was
from
in my perspective, it was a fucking
many last
massacre.
Shows. Yes.
I mean, it was the libertarians. Took the dub for that one because.
That's true.
I mean, there was no facts and statistics on the other side. Like,
I don't know.
You just know you're not. Like, oh.
Maybe I'll plug that episode in the fucking comments.
All the sanctions that I had, Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different.
I've never heard fucking a debate rebuttal be like, suck a dick.
That was it.
The economy would be better if we raised it. Suck a dick. And it's all like, whoa, okay. Yeah, all right, dude. I mean,
good answer.
Good answer.
Spheres of terror, and they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people.
Adolescence and stuff.
You see, look, it's a meme.
Goodness.
I love Israel and the Jews.
Yeah, that's it.
She's like, say, my whole life, every year I've been born,
I would
was kinda-
totally suck a Jew's
When I was
dick.
1, when I was 2, Jew.
Knows that he's trying to again divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un, and it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're
like she can fit right into like CNN like that.
She could. They would give her own show.
The problem is though she uses so many of these talking points that most of them are like lied, have been debunked, but they still press them out anyways. If I go back, I'm gonna check and see what the fact checkers say about this debate. Who lied more? Bullshit. And if I know for a fact that she's, because Biden and them were good at, they say Trump lies a lot, and they kind of don't say anything on during the debate. They're kind of like, they're pretty soft when it comes to debates, because they don't want to risk them saying anything wrong or whatever bullshit.
They don't want to risk it
but
for
that's
the
too.
biscuit.
She doesn't have a shit ton of lies, because it's like some of the stuff is like
So I got
common
you.
knowledge.
I got you. She will have a show where it's Judge Harris.
No, she just like her little like daytime talk show shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Judge Harris.
What's that?
She sits there and
Who's
she
Judge
judges
Harris?
people.
Like
And
Judge
goes
Judy, you mean? Like
yeah.
fucking Judge Harris? Some
No.
ghetto ass shit. I know it's black fucking racist debate, but Judge Harris, who the fuck is that? Judge Mathis, something like that. I mean,
She has a fucking show called Judge Harris.
Who is Harris? Who is she?
Kamala Harris.
Oh, you mean her?
Yeah.
You're already planning the show already.
Yeah, we're
like,
planning the show. It's a $1 billion idea,
wow.
dude. You watch it, 3-4 episodes make $1 million, and then everybody stops watching it.
She is Attorney General, whatever, or she was Attorney General, so
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. Judge
Steve
Harris.
Harvey got a court show now, so if he get one, shit.
Yeah, there you go.
They're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we...
This has really turned into the high school fucking... I heard that...
Right. But the other day, he just was in Arlington Cemetery with the Gold Star families, laying wreaths and shit, and Biden and her wasn't there. And they said, there's a rumor that they weren't invited by them, but really they just didn't go, I guess. Or really, they refused to go. They refused the invitation, and then they said they weren't invited.
They were uninvited. You've been uninvited to the
But
party.
he was just there. That was kind of not big news, but it was news that, he's at the fucking thing with the
I mean,
families.
basically anything that he does is just all like, all right, what evil thing did Donald Trump do this week? Rather than some of the things that he does that people are all like, that's a good fucking president.
I mean, other than his court cases, all being settled or whatnot, it's old stuff. They're bringing up stuff literally because they've been the last 3.5 years. So this is stuff like 4, 5, 6 years ago. Like, goddamn, hey, this is old stuff we've been hearing. It's like not really hitting.
Elon Musk is cooking right now. National rent control will destroy incentives of building new housing, unburdened by what has been.
Wait, that's not fake from him.
Yeah, that's for him.
No, that's not from him.
That is from
This is
him.
fake. 4chan shit? No, it's fake.
Oh, okay. So we're just gonna automatic. All right,
Find it
fine.
on Twitter.
Fine. You want me to find it on Twitter?
Please.
Okay.
Because come on now. I mean, like, if he's doing that, I mean, come on now. You can, like...
have to have...
Listen, I keep up with the
He's the richest man in the world.
spiciest
He's the richest man in the world. And, like, come on. That's like...
It's so...
Come on. That meme is fucking tired as hell.
President who is not consistently weak and wrong on
Vice
national
President
security,
Harris.
including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
And she's the one that caused
Turn the mic back on. Turn the mic
that's
back on.
weak for national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed her last week. said, I hope she wins. And I think he meant it, because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent, and they are.
There you go. Don't ever doubt the Chan.
I'm gonna doubt the Chan. I mean, anything online, I'm doubting anyways. But I mean,
there's no reason.
Why would we just go
on
and switch
4chan.
Twitter anyways? I guess 4chan brings everything
Everything
to
together.
one spot.
That's, dude, if I want to get the spiciest memes, I go 4chan, especially the night of.
That wasn't spicy, but okay.
But that was the first thing that drew my attention was,
And
shit, Elon Musk.
See, it looked like it's retweeted by somebody else, but I thought it might not be. It might not be real. Cause like it's not even him. It's like a retweet. But I give him that.
Dude, the day that Donald Trump got shot, I was monitoring that shit. There was so much shit going on that day.
What do you mean?
When Trump got shot, there were so many fucking threads.
Threads about what? Was it about
him
memes? and stuff?
getting shot?
Like
the
real time?
shooter, real time, like all the goods.
Yeah, it's funny because since that happened like that, you can like listen to mainstream like news like saying, "Oh, Donald Trump fell down" or something like that. And
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? I mean, you can tell if you listen to mainstream media, what nothing really happened. But if you're on this shit, they probably got it all.
Yeah, no.
The dude on the roof, some white kid. I knew it was.
I mean, those fucking videos of the dude on the roof were way out before they were on any fucking like news, legit news organization.
There's so much like I had to stop watching cause for a while I was kind of like deep into it, like getting all the facts and stuff, and I just stopped doing it. Like, this is like Charles. This is like fucking amateur hour bullshit. Like JFK, that was some real sleuthing right there. You can't know for sure, but like this shit was like, man, they do the kid, where he's from, what he does, what's his whole schedule and everything. But I don't know.
Did I actually or supposedly the newest news this week is that he wasn't killed by Donald Trump's Secret Service. He was actually killed by some rogue guy, some like fucking.
From where?
From I guess nearby, like a local.
Nearby. It was was he on the roof too, or was he
One of the
from the ground level? I mean, that doesn't make no sense.
From one of the locals guys.
I know, but where was the shooter guy? Was he, how did he shoot? What vantage point do you have?
I have no fucking idea.
Well,
I
just
found
the roofs were all take one dude was on the roof, the type was on the roof. But that's important, like when he's from the ground. Like
I don't know. We're just barely learning things. I don't know.
See, you're making shit up. I'm already
okay. All right. I will find it.
That doesn't sound skeptical to you.
I will find it.
They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way,
President
gets paid
Trump,
a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much more of this historic ABC News presidential debate from the National Constitution Center right here in Philadelphia.
How long are we at so far? The time? How long it's been on?
They're about to go to commercial break.
Wait a minute. That's it?
No.
The ABC News president
2024
commercial break. That's why I wasn't afraid that we were gonna stop.
It feels like an hour we've been sitting here. Holy shit. It feels like we've been here sitting here a long ass time.
We've been sitting here for an hour 45.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 35 minutes over here.
No.
Oh, shit.
Here we go.
To save lives that are being people being killed by the
Oh,
millions.
so I misheard. It's the Indiana shooter.
What's that? What about
that? They were killed by fucking
Indiana was recently
armed civilian. Yeah, the whole shooting that happened recently.
I heard about one in Georgia where
Which turned out to be another angry trans kid.
For real?
Yeah. We can't talk about
Millions, it's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers.
The blue line. Some person. He killed blue line with shoot people. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, he was gay. I don't think he was trans. He was gay.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they were gay.
Yeah,
Fuck. Why are gay people so angry?
Look, we're in for 250 billion or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe like I did with NATO. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like me as much as they like weak people. But you take a look at what's happening. We're in for 250 to 275 billion. They're into 100 to 150. They should be forced to equalize. With that being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin, hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left, I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here...
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know.
Shit.
Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time is up.
Damn,
just
son.
to clarify the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President Harris. I want to...
Oh, he's an anti-war president?
It's so weird to hear. It's like, what?
You want
all the killing must stop.
Yeah, all the killing
must stop the killing.
Must stop the killing.
to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine
Fuck
in
Trump.
this moment, but also as commander-in-chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
She was waiting all fucking night.
And that's not what you want to say. I mean,
That was weak sauce.
Joe Biden's still revered, so even though people don't like his job as a president, he's still Joe Biden. So like now she's distancing from him. It has begun, and she should be thankful if she ain't Joe Biden. I mean, she would wish she was Joe Biden. She has no, Joe Biden got allies and stuff like that, and she's just. She's just.
I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank,
She went by
to
herself.
Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on
thought they were
Ukraine
friends,
tonight,
though.
Afghanistan.
Dude, that was the longest rant.
And it was what?
That was like a bad wrestling promo rant where it's like no pop at the end.
It was confusing. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
came up in the last hour.
For lunch.
I wanted her to respond to something you
Trump is trying to respond to that, but no, we're gonna go back to
said earlier. And
Harris.
Please,
Let him go back
I'll
to
give you a
him.
minute here.
She's got.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men.
He called him on that was bullshit. Don't
They
fucking.
still don't have, I thought he wasn't getting no time, extra time to have a rebuttal, and they like, oh, it's done.
Dude, ABC is fucking milking it right now.
And women. But he would have been
Is this
sitting
only
in
one, or is
Moscow.
one more?
Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow.
Silent.
Silent. Go in the corner,
Quiet,
woman.
please.
Happier than he.
Exactly. I just feel the energy like in the back of his mind.
I love women, right? But I recognize the truth about women. Women are like dogs.
You just gotta fucking tell her, shut up.
He is right now. But eventually, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening, but he does have that. Something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of the debate, you're going to get a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should.
Both sides.
As a
There's
leader,
one side,
upholding international rules and
both
norms.
sides come together.
As a
and,
leader who shows
America's there.
strength.
Come on now.
This is like word salad.
You went to you met Zelensky. Okay, he ain't. I've been reading about him, and he ain't the
and not favor our enemies because
the hero
you
that
adore
everybody thinks he is.
strong men instead of caring about democracy.
Oh, she finally looked at him.
And that is very much
Okay,
what
she's back to looking at the camera.
is at stake here. The President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We've talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on to Afghanistan.
Stoltenberg said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said,
Did you look at her
They're
earrings?
gonna complain about that. They're like, they did them talk. I just
countries
want
at the time
Yeah.
to pay up.
Look at her earrings.
Pearl and
I wonder if they could be fucking microphones.
calm down.
No? You don't think so?
She is smart enough to memorize all the
think so?
talking points. All she said talking points, so she knows all the talking points that she can use interchangeably. I mean, she can. That's too much. That's too much.
Too much? I don't know. Joe Biden looked like he was getting fed shit.
The backlash would be too great for the benefits of it. Like, you know.
Right, but everybody involved with it would fucking not say anything because that's their whole fucking political career.
Right, he just easily put it under her right ear where her hair's covering, you know, exposed the left ear. So, I saw it. It doesn't know, fucking like there. We cover the right side, and it's like, you know, who knows? Just her hair's a little.
He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you.
President
Otherwise,
Trump.
we would have never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty.
Didn't Donald Trump start that? Where he
said, yeah, he did the
he was the one
conditions-based slow withdrawal where they had to make certain criterias and stuff like that for them to go. And he famously said, if anybody dies or fucking, anybody dies or hairs hurt on their heads, he's going to come and kill his family, or their family, whoever's in charge there. And he left, he gave them a picture of their kids or something like that and walked out like a gangster.
Yeah.
Or so I heard, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Who's that?
AOC?
Yeah, I see you, OC. I see you.
I see you? Okay.
In a combat zone, in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this, and the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States to be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that you began the negotiations with the Taliban.
So, if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed.
He fucking cyberbullied him. He's like, I know where you live, motherfucker.
He did tell you he had a picture of family, and the hair on their head, so then, be hurt. And he got shot a picture.
You've been doxxed.
See you later.
But agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal, and in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you.
I did find, I don't know, do you think this is accurate?
Oh, yeah.
Miss, I think democracy is good.
I thought you were going to turn like Kamala Harris or turn like Kamala Harris all of a sudden, the morphin turn.
I want to move on now to race
somebody
and
would make that
politics in this
video.
country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, "I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she
Bam.
happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black." I want to ask a bigger picture
That's a big
question here
mouthful.
tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate
I'm
to
not
weigh
black,
in
man.
on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm
I don't
asking.
know. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out.
Shit.
And I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want
Oh, here we go.
this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was land, he owned land, he owned buildings, and he
Landowner. You know what I'm saying there?
Land builder owner.
You can
Because
read between
he
them
refused-
cotton lines.
used to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this, want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? Knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
Vice President Harris. Thank you. Lindsay?
President Trump, this is now your third time.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country, and they come up with things like what she just said. Going back many, many years, when a lot of people, including Mayor Bloomberg, agreed with me on the Central Park 5, they admitted, they said, they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and I'm going to build it again. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger. But they're destroying our economy. They have no idea what a good economy is. Their oil policies, every single policy. And remember this, she is Biden. You know, she's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman, she says. She is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad, and she can't get away with that.
Thank you. Your time is up, Lindsay.
I want to respond to that, though. I want to just respond briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country. One who believes in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism about what we can do instead of always disparaging the.
Oh man, I thought she was gonna break out into what we can be unburdened by
I'm
what
all
can.
sad.
I don't. It was right there.
chug your beer or whatever.
And she's not Joe Biden. Have you seen Joe Biden lately? They got the latest sighting.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you're right.
This is a fucking great.
American people.
Like
I believe in what we can
I'm
do
telling you, man,
to
Fortune got the fire
strengthen
wings.
our small businesses, which is why I have a plan. Let's
guess we're
talk
up to
about
5
our
minutes nowadays.
plans
That's
and let's compare the plans. I have a plan to give
it?
startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction. To pursue their ambitions, their innovation,
That's
their
fucking gold.
ideas, their hard work. I have a plan, $6,000 for young
$6,000.
families for the first year of your child's life to help
a lot of
you
money, it sounds
in
like.
that most critical stage of your child's development.
All that thing does right there is poop and shit and fucking cry. I need a little help more going down the
Not
line.
many people are having kids nowadays, so less people having kids. That's a free one. Like, okay.
You know how hard it is to get childcare fucking right now? Like,
Yeah, but you can get.
I don't even have a fucking kid.
But they can get other child. You can get child care, but you can get like food stamps and WIC and fucking healthcare, fucking all that other government services.
All that.
But you can't get fucking child care.
Here's the thing: is that they would prefer, or they, I don't know who, exclamation points, they, fucking, whoever that is, would just find it easier to make it so that the mothers have to stay home. A parent has to stay
Well,
home.
that's how it's supposed to be. Some people who are old-fashioned say, "Hey, one of my parents. I'm not saying the female does, but traditionally it is a female. One parent should be there raising a child. I personally, having a daycare like that, having someone else raise your child 0 through 3, it's not where it's at. So, but there should be enough incentive where one person in this country can do that. When the guy can go work and work a good job where just one parent can work by themselves. And that's what the economy, all that stuff got to be good. If you can build that up where good jobs, or good paying jobs are everywhere or whatever, then now the husband can go home, go to work, and single-handedly make enough money. But we can't do that. You can't buy a house nowadays. You can't do none of that stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
get
prices going up, prices going down, et cetera, et cetera.
I believe one day, just the entire country will be one
That's why I said,
subsidized.
our black people or minorities better off than they were in the 1950s. And as far as how much money they make generally and
Under
the
that
family
man,
and my houses and stuff. So
they were doing great.
I'm not sure what the unemployment was, but I do know it was the lowest black unemployment in the country's history.
I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering help with down payment of $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers.
See the plans?
That's the kind of conversation
had
I
one
believe,
press- she had
David,
one, like,
that people
one,
really
you
want
know,
tonight, as opposed to
speech, I
a
guess,
conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling. Let's turn the page
Vice President
and move
Harris,
forward.
thank you. Let's turn to policy.
President
Let's
Trump,
turn back
we
to
have
policy.
to move on. President Trump.
Let's turn to policy, please.
To defund the police. She has a plan
Oh, he was
to
ready.
confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
she
we
has
do
a
have to
plan
move on to
not
other
allow
issues.
fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
Okay. Thank
That's
you,
what her
President.
plan is until just recently.
I just need
Lindsey,
to
go ahead.
respond
No,
because
Trump-
the
President
former
Trump-
president has said
No, I'm
something
sorry.
twice that I need to
No,
respond to.
I'm sorry.
I
We're
just
going
need
to move on,
respond
Vice
one
President
time
Harris.
to what he has
President
said
Trump, this
multiple
is
times.
now your
Yes.
third time
Yes.
running for president. You have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better. Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care, always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this, I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote to change it. If they would have done that, we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up. They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We
Lots
read
of
about
good
the
people.
bad ones. We had some real bad ones too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain.
I love that. He just runs on it for like a good solid. He knows how to fucking buy time.
Oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, like it's a word salad in a sense, I guess. But he says things that are like, It's still like, okay, he's the way he said it. It's out of cadence. I'm not sure, but it's like
he keeps your attention, then he ends with a zinger, and then he gets on to the next subject.
he can bring it back a little bit later in a different way, you know, and it's like a more of a punchline, traditional joke. Like, you know, his quickness, his wit is, you know,
many losers. We have losers in this country.
To make.
Yeah,
she's
trying to do what he does,
but
she's like nowhere as good as he is. It's coming off not.
It's over.
Good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing, but it's still never going to be great, and it's too expensive for people. And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not-too-distant future.
Vice President Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private
I will
insurance.
give him that. That'll be the meme for the next week. Concepts of a plan. It's already fucking pretty good.
That's you know, this is legit. I mean,
Create a government-run healthcare system. 2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private insurance option. What is your plan today?
Well, first of all, I absolutely support, and over the last 4 years as vice president, private health care options. But what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Ooh.
As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history to know where people stand. When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
In the moment,
60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John McCain, who have disparaged.
Well, may he burn in hell.
You don't like him, you said, at the time because he got caught. He was an American hero. The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said, no, you don't.
Beta.
No, you don't. No, you don't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have no plan. And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell the people watching tonight. You remember
the Crowder chat or something?
Oh, it's good?
No, I'm just trying to see if people are saying, because I feel like they're like...
I know what everybody's saying right now. I have concepts of a plan!
Did you have it up earlier or no?
Yeah, I did have it up earlier. We'll finish it up and then we'll watch.
What that was like?
It's about to be over, I think.
Remember when an insurance company could deny?
It's right there.
If a child had asthma, if someone was a breast cancer survivor, if a grandparent had diabetes? And thankfully, as I've been vice president, and we over the last 4 years have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, we have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices on behalf of you, the American people. Donald Trump said he was going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We did. And now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. Since I've been vice president, we have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding that the value I bring to this is that access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, not get rid of it,
Vice President Harris,
in terms of where Donald Trump stands on that.
I want to move to an issue that's important for a lot of...
She made a mistake. Number one, John McCain fought Obamacare for 10 years.
He did.
But it wasn't only him. It were all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what? We can do much better than Obamacare, much less money. But she won't improve private insurance for people, private medical insurance. That's another thing she doesn't want to get. People are paying privately for insurance that have worked hard and made money, and they want to have private. She wants everybody to be on government insurance where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need immediately.
President Trump, thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to get to that's important for a number of Americans, in particular younger voters, and that's climate change. President Trump, with regard to the environment, you say that we have to have clean air and clean water.
They don't give a fuck at this point if they can't afford an apartment.
Exactly, and compared to the rest of the world, I mean, America is far, like, with the FDA and all the fucking, things that's, trying to get.
I care
There's
about
no-
the environment as much as the next person, where it's all like, I don't want to litter.
All right.
Yeah,
Look.
I'm an environmentalist now.
Go stand in a major city in China and you tell me how clean the area is
Oh,
over there.
jeez,
You
fuck.
go where the ozone hole is ripped above Russia and tell me how good
Have
that
you
is.
seen they started making food out of garbage
Where?
in China?
Oh, okay.
Like they will literally dig through the trash and then take things and then cook it and then it's edible.
Sort of like the migrants, huh?
Yeah.
That's what third world people do, I guess.
Vice President Harris, you call climate change an existential threat. The question to you both tonight is, what would you do to fight climate change? And
Donald
Vice
Trump
President
was.
Harris, we'll start
Who
with
said
you.
that?
1 minute for you each.
Donald Trump or
Well, the former president had said the climate change is a hoax.
How far behind are you?
And
Oh,
what
it's
we know
weird.
is that it is very real.
I just finished watching it.
Oh, we're a little bit behind and we stopped to add our insights, our brilliant insights into it.
All right, I won't provide you with any spoilers then.
No spoilers, we
we're
just got
almost
to
done.
concepts of a plan.
Concepts of a plan, okay.
Hell yeah.
You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being
Extreme
jacked
weather,
up. You ask anybody who
Hurricane?
has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue. The young people of America care deeply about this issue.
are.
And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4 years,
So
we have
proud.
invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy, while we have also increased domestic gas production to historic levels.
But
We
didn't-
have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy to the point that we are opening
electric
up
vehicle summit at the
factories
White
around
House
the world. Donald Trump
and didn't
said he
invite
was
Elon
going to
Musk.
create
I mean, how
manufacturing
does that
jobs.
work?
He
What?
They had electric vehicle conference at the White House, and they didn't invite Elon Musk for some reason. I guess they don't invite Ford and Chevy and stuff.
He's
So
not cool.
Yeah, no.
Or
he makes more
whatever.
cars than all of them combined, and
Well,
still.
he votes on the wrong side now.
But they're really
Right.
serious about climate change. I thought. I mean,
It doesn't matter. It's about your
And
politics.
the oil thing blows me away too. I'm like, they shut down the Keystone pipeline. They depleted the strategic oil reserve. Like, we're not producing oil was a net export when Trump was in office. What are you talking about? More oil in the United States?
so fracking. Fracking is this. All right, you just fracking now.
Just fracking.
Frack.
Right.
He lost
Frickety
manufacturing
frack.
jobs. And I'm also proud to have the endorsement of the United Auto Workers and Sean Fain, who also know that part of building a clean energy economy includes investing in American-made products, American automobiles. It includes
Except
growing
Tesla.
what we can do around American manufacturing and opening up auto plants, not closing them like happened under Donald Trump.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
That didn't happen under Donald Trump. Let me just
Yeah, I was about to say.
Wait a minute.
That was one of the things that he actually did do a bunch was reopen and try to make sure plants stayed open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even Elon, he was even the shutdown order was in place. He still kept the Tesla plant open.
Oh, during COVID?
Yeah, and he kind of got in trouble for that, but not really. Yeah.
tell you, they lost 10,000 manufacturing jobs this last month. They're all leaving. They're building big auto plants in Mexico, in many cases owned by China. They're building these massive plants, and they think they're going to sell their cars into the United
China.
States because of these people. What they have given to China is unbelievable. But we're not going to let that. We'll put tariffs on those cars so they can't come into our country because they will kill the United Auto Workers and any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit or South Carolina or any other place.
robots and stuff
What
soon,
they've
like,
done to
auto workers
business
won't be a
and
thing, I think.
manufacturing in this country is horrible. We have nothing because they refuse. You know, Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars. He's afraid to do it between him and his son. They get all this money from Ukraine. They get all this money from all of these different countries. And then you wonder, why is he so loyal to this one, that one, Ukraine, China? Why is he? Why did he get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? Why did she pay him $3.5 million? This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of our candidates. An historic night, this ABC News presidential debate.
Every time he cooks and shit, they're like, "Oh, commercial, please don't let us respond. Don't let us respond." Cut the break.
We are America.
See, I don't know. They let him end up on these rants and stuff. I think he's either burying himself and they're not trying to like play cover, or they just like, damn, they're in all too like that.
It looks like this last little bit, they're not going to let her respond, and then
that's what you want her to respond to. The questions that he started cooking in the dark, you're like, damn, those are pretty poignant questions. What do you say to come out with all those allegations? No, cut the break. Cut it.
Yeah, it's just like in boxing when the guy's on momentum, you gotta have a ref stoppage, you gotta do the whole thing.
Right. We saw CNN like when what's the name when RFK was announcing he was dropping out and stuff for Trump. They cut him short like right as he was gonna get into a speech. Like, whoa.
Done.
Live from the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here again, David Muir and Lindsay Davis.
Welcome back tonight. The time has come for closing statements, and Vice President Harris, we begin with you.
So I think you've heard tonight two very different visions for our country. One that is focused on the future, and the other that is focused on the past, and an attempt to take us backward. But we're not going back. And I do believe that the American people know we all have so much more in common than what separates us. And we can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition of the American people, which is why I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new families, in what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together that is about sustaining America's standing in the world and ensuring that we have the respect that we so rightly deserve, including respecting our military and ensuring we have the most lethal fighting force in the world. I will be a president that will protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. I'll tell you, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a DA, I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I've only had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never
had a
asked
job.
a victim or a witness, are
Some
you a
people,
Republican
yeah,
or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay?
Oh my
And
God.
that's the kind of president we need
Before
right
she
now.
threw him in jail.
Someone
You okay?
who cares
That's the
about
only thing
you
you
and is
asked
not
him?
putting
Really?
themselves.
I hope you're okay with 3 square meals a day.
we don't
and
even-
fucking monitored 23 hours a day.
Nothing on you, right? Nothing on you.
I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on what we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up our country by investing right now in you, the American people.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump?
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like we're not going to frack, we're not going to take fossil fuel, we're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughing. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
President Trump, thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia at the National Constitution Center. I'm Lindsay Davis.
And I'm David Muir. Thank you for watching here in the U.S. and all over the world, and from all of us here at ABC News.
Evil, like,
supervillain?
Supervillain, there you go.
Yeah, it says
And that
Rita
is the
Repulsa.
end of the first presidential.
After 10,000 years, I'm free.
Fuck you, die.
All right. So, I guess closing thoughts, Carlos. What'd you think?
I think that they're just both repeating like a lot of the same. I mean, there's no new information was presented, which I was not expected. But it's just like you spent how long was that? Two and a half hours.
Yes.
Something like
to say nothing new. I mean, everyone who's on one side, like the base used to be, you might come over to the other side a little bit, maybe not, but they just went deep into their own, the people's, their talking points, and so people who hate Donald Trump hate him even more, or hate him the same, and same for Kamala.
If only you knew how bad
this might be. I think because the first Trump and who was it? No, this one is probably going to be the most hated. Two candidates that people hate. It's like a lose-lose situation type thing. Harris and Trump is pretty epic as far as most hated candidates. Like this, that's what running at the same time. Like both candidates are hated equally, probably as people. Republicans hate her more than or as much as Democrats hate Trump. I believe. I don't know. And
what about you, Beard?
I don't know. Well, I'll say this. I'm sitting here thinking about this. Who is the debate really for? It's not for decided voters, so it's with undecided. And realizing after watching the whole damn thing, they did nothing to move the needle. Right?
Exactly.
If you were undecided, you're still where you were before you watched the fucking thing.
That's true.
If not, you're more on the other side. You're more like, oh, fuck both of them. Like, I'm more now, like, I was 2-1 candidate now, both of them suck equally. I'll fuck them both.
Yeah. Bottom line, it didn't push you toward either candidate watching it if you were undecided. So just kind of looking at it like, that's an interesting waste of time.
Yeah. But they look more for, well, would they come out and mess up? Did she seem strong? They look for little shit in the, not what they're saying, but how she respond to him. Did she laugh too big for him, or did he, call somebody a fucking dirty dog or something like that? They're looking for little minute things to see.
You ain't black enough.
But it's like, it's not really debating the topics. It's like, although I think like if you looked at it very objectively, some of the stuff is just, it's just desperate. If Trump talks shit, he's not desperate. That's just the way he is. That's just, but if she like goes after him, she seems very desperate and like very weak. And that's all it was pretty much. But I think that the Democrats are going to say that she did amazing. They're going to find some way to. She didn't lie at all. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So I'm with you. You're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to see a million articles of how Trump did amazing from one side and just the opposite, how she did amazing from the other. That's exactly what it's going to be.
I can make an argument for Trump did really well because of the fucking memes that he had in there, his comments and his quotes and stuff like that, him being Trump, he's going to be in the news for what he always is, for being Trump, so those will get news. What he said,
the meme magic is real.
But her, I mean, I can't make an argument for how what she said wasn't making any sense, or like, I can't make an argument even if I was a Democrat. I don't fucking know. Because she, to me, was like, she was fucking struggling. Like, the talking points was strong with her. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, this debate was really about making sure that people stayed voting for Kamala and for her not to lose anybody.
She brought about
Trump
boys
ain't going to lose nobody.
tiki torches and stuff. Like
Nobody.
It's getting old now. Like, come on now, you bring up old shit from like
I don't know.
tiki torches. I thought I would never hear that word.
I stay current, dude. I keep on top of
Stand by and stand back. Like, what the?
I keep on top of the newest shit, which is fucking Haitians eating cats. That's
Oh my god, those have been amazing.
yeah. There's fucking something has to be done.
I like that picture. That was a racist picture.
This one?
Yeah, what's up with that, man? What's up with that? Look
Yeah,
at it.
you think so?
Bro.
Come on.
Bro.
I mean, I got some racist memes out here, but that one's not
Can
even
you please
there.
explain to me what the hell? I mean, I'm confused.
With the cats? The Haitian cat? The Haitian trying to eat the cat?
Yeah.
It's a Haitian trying to eat the
You
cat.
can't just let that lie. I mean, what do you mean?
What do I mean?
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning of the debate? At the debate.
Oh, it's literally from the
yeah.
Yeah, in Ohio the other day, what is it? They arrested some woman for eating the neighbor's cat, and
Yes.
then a whole bunch of Haitian migrants were caught on video snagging up geese and duck from public ponds
their necks.
to eat them.
I don't have the video.
Do they
but
know?
I have to find it, but apparently this is like a screenshot from it.
But do they know
eat
that
the
stories and stuff genders like get bigger and bigger until they're actually like true? Now maybe they heard that from somewhere, and unless they like saw a cat that was, blood on their face, and they're all like eating cat. How do they know this really happened? It sounds like a fucking,
Oh, it's on video. There's a lady getting approached by the police.
and she's eating cat.
Yeah, there's a
I need
whole
that. I
arrest
need
report
that.
and
I
everything
need that.
for
That
eating a
video?
neighbor's cat.
I need that
Eating cat video.
because the
Haitian.
David Muir was like, he was talking about it. He was kind of like, no, he debunked Trump and saying, well, actually, they like who fact checks? You can't fact check the fucking debaters on real time, or one of the debaters you fact check them. That's
Here, look.
Yeah, it's hard.
Here's the fact
How do
checking.
you fact check the?
Fact: Ohio woman accused of eating cat is from Canton, not Springfield.
Wow.
So it's just basically
Yeah.
you're misinformed. Is just she's not from here.
Yeah, I'm like,
What do
some
you-
Ohio
what do
lady
you
ate her
get charged
neighbors.
with? What is that?
Yeah, it was like some shit
That's
like
animal
that.
cruelty.
Okay, but what does that really get you though?
That gets you fucking like some hard
Memes?
time.
It's levels to animal cruelty. I'm sure. Like you're Michael Vick, or you fucking throw some cat out the window type shit or something. I don't know.
No, like if you purposely like hurt an animal with intent to hurt
Any
it,
animal?
any any animal. There's like chickens and the food that like you naturally go get
Yeah.
are covered under something. I can't remember.
Because
what
if
it
I
was.
got like
Some cruelty of
if I got
laws
like
or
a
some
little
shit.
pellet gun or a gun, and I'm going to shoot chickens or something, or I'm shooting pigeons. I'm a pigeon killer. I'm going to shoot pigeons off, because they shit all over my porch and stuff, and they just like nest and
I
stuff.
think they're considered rodents.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. But I mean,
Environment shooting.
Yeah. I think there's classifications of them, and some
What?
animals fall into some categories and others fall into others.
No, but I feel like animal cruelty is such a broad term. It can't just be overlaid for everybody. Animal cruelty, you fucking stepped on your cat by accident and killed it. It's manslaughter. Animal cruelty, slaughter.
Animal cruel.
I've almost killed a couple poodles. I'm so big. I'm just like, that little ass poodle, man. I didn't see it.
What are you doing to the poodles?
Huh?
What are you doing to the poodles?
I mean, me, I don't got poodles. Like, if I'm with one of my girls, something like that, and they got like a toy poodle or a little Yorkie or whatever, like, it's fucking, I would crush them to death. I mean, there's no small.
Class B misdemeanor under animal cruelty or
Yeah, shit.
neglect
Nothing.
can get you 6 months.
Okay, that's what any animal.
Right.
Kill any animal, you get 6 months. That doesn't make sense.
Whatever.
I'm sure
So
if you
dumb.
can. Yeah, I'm sure if you can stack up the charges based on how many times, how many animals, and all that, you can look at a lengthy sentence. Like,
Well, don't forget, you still got to get caught, and then you got to have someone who cares.
that is a good point. No one cares.
And I'm not just saying that, like, you got animals fucking with you, like, or your garbage or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
People fucking kill them all the time for any given reason.
If a dog came up to me, I'm fucking snapping his neck. I'm like, if it's me and a dog, and it's like, it's me and it, you can get a couple bites in, but I'm gonna fucking, I'm sorry, dog.
Oh,
You had a good life.
Yeah, I think defending yourself gets you kind of off.
Now, if the police come in and bust in, which they've done before, I've seen them bust
If you
into a
hurt
place
their dog-
for raid. They came in for raid.
Yeah.
Dog was, very friendly, and they shot the dog dead in front of everybody.
Just hit the dog. Get away from me, dog.
Cops killed him, shot to death.
Oh well, yeah, they can kill the dogs. That's like a.
We knew the dog was like
I thought-
friendly, but you see a dog, they doing it like a raid
Right.
or come in, the dogs ran after him.
I thought you meant like after, or
Well,
not
we
after,
doing a
but
raid.
it's a dog cop. Like if you end up hitting the
Right.
dog cop trying to get it off of you, it's assault on an officer.
So what?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, dogs are not gonna kill you. I don't think. Maybe.
It still fucking hurts. You still have a response.
I told you if I get bit by a dog or a dog come after me, I'm gonna snap his neck.
Also,
Lovingly.
I'll just bite him back.
Lovingly, I'm a lovingly.
I never
snap
had a
his
pet
neck.
before, so I'm not really, as crazy about them as most people are. But
You want to snap their necks?
I won't snap a dog's neck.
Okay. All right. I think that's been a good point to end it. We do not condone snapping the necks of dogs.
No. It's just I said my dog's neck.
Oh, your dog's neck.
My dog.
My dog.
My dog's neck. Don't cancel me now.
All right.
It's a dog's neck.
I don't know. I don't have any music or anything to end this. I guess we
This
can
is
just
a thing.
take
What are
fuck
you
off.
doing? Yeah.
It's a funeral. Where's the fucking?
This is fucking 3 hours of my life I can't get back.
Kamala Harris's fucking.
She comes out
shit.
shuffling and shit.
Yeah. It's over. It's over. Go to sleep, schizos.
Go to sleep.
Is there another one?